to revenge with Lyra.
My son's small hands were shaking when he hugged me. I could still feel the chill from outside clinging to his coat. Mom, he whispered against my shoulder. They were partying at a luxury hotel while I waited in the car for 2 hours. It took me a second to process. Who? I asked softly. He looked up at me, eyes red, voice trembling. Grandma. Grandpa. Aunt Lily. The room spun for a moment. I'd left him with them so I could work a double shift. They promised to take him for ice cream. Instead, they left him in a parking lot while they drank champagne under chandeliers. I didn't cry. I didn't even raise my voice. I just stood there, staring at my son, his little face twisted with confusion, betrayal, and exhaustion, and felt something in me harden. My name is Clara James, I'm 33 years old, and that was the night I stopped being the family doormat. I grabbed my car keys. I didn't pack a bag. Didn't call ahead. I just drove, headlights slicing through the rain, toward the same house where I grew up being told to be grateful for scraps. When I pulled into their driveway, I could already hear music through the walls. Laughter. Glasses clinking. The sound of people who'd forgotten what decency felt like. I stepped out, wiped my face once, and whispered, "Let's finish this." The front door was wide open, spilling golden light and laughter onto the porch like some grotesque celebration of everything I'd escaped. Perfume, whiskey, and roasted lamb filled the air, scents I used to associate with family gatherings. Now, they just smelled like betrayal. From the threshold, I saw them. My mother twirling a glass of champagne, my father laughing too loud, and Lily, my perfect sister, showing off a designer handbag probably paid for with the loan I gave her months ago. And in the corner of the couch sat an untouched slice of cake, the one they were supposed to share with my son. I stepped inside quietly. No one noticed at first. Then Lily saw me and froze mid-laugh, her lips curling into that same patronizing smile she used to give me at every family dinner. "Oh," she said sweetly. "The working-class hero decided to join us." Dad chuckled. "You should have called first, Clara. We're kind of busy celebrating Lily's promotion." I glanced around the room, the velvet curtains, the chandelier, the table loaded with food, and then said evenly, "I didn't come to eat." Mom set her glass down, visibly annoyed. "Then what do you want?" I reached into my purse, pulled out my phone, and pressed play. Their laughter vanished the moment they heard my son's voice on the recording. They left me in the car. "I was so cold, Grandma." The sound of my son's trembling voice filled the room, small, scared, echoing through the living room like a ghost they couldn't silence. Grandma said not to move. She said good kids wait quietly. But I got hungry. I was scared. My mother's hand froze midair, her glass trembling slightly. Dad's face turned pale. Lily's fake confidence slipped into panic. "Clara," Mom started, forcing a brittle laugh, "you're misunderstanding." "No," I interrupted. "For once in your life, listen." The video continued. My son's voice cracked as he whispered, "I saw them dancing through the hotel window. Aunt Lily had cake. Grandpa laughed." I stopped the recording. The silence that followed was suffocating. Dad finally muttered, "You shouldn't record private things like that." Private. That word hit me harder than a slap. You left an 8-year-old alone in a car while you partied. That's not private, Dad. That's criminal. Lily crossed her arms, trying to recover her smugness. "You're overreacting. It was just a couple of hours." I took a step closer, my voice shaking, not with fear, but fury. "You left him in December. 43 degrees. Windows closed. No food. That's not a couple of hours, Lily. That's neglect." Mom slammed her glass down. "Don't talk to your sister that way." "I'm not," I said quietly. "I'm talking to the woman who raised us to think cruelty is normal." And then I pulled out my second phone. Their eyes darted to the second phone like it was a weapon, and in a way it was. I unlocked the screen, opened a folder labeled Proof, and let the first video play. The footage showed my parents walking out of the luxury hotel, laughing, champagne in hand. Behind them, through the glass doors, was Lily, snapping selfies, posing with guests, twirling under fairy lights. And right there, in the corner of the frame, sat my son, alone in the car, hugging his backpack for warmth. Mom's jaw clenched. "Where did you get that?" "The hotel cameras," I said coldly. "Apparently money doesn't just buy drinks, it buys stupidity too. You forgot I handle their legal contracts."
Dad tried to stand.
"You can't show this to anyone, Clara. This could ruin." "Good," I said. "Maybe ruin is what it takes for you to finally feel something." Lily scoffed, trying to regain control. "You always loved playing the victim. What do you want, Clara? Pity? A show?" I leaned closer.
"No, Lily.
"I want accountability." Then I opened the next file, a screenshot of the text messages Lily sent me earlier that week. "Keep your son at home. Mom doesn't want him embarrassing us again." Mom's face drained of color. Dad whispered, "Lily, you didn't." But Lily said nothing, just stared at the screen as her entire image of perfection cracked. The silence that followed was like a thunderstorm right before it breaks. No one moved. Even the chandelier seemed to hum with tension. Mom finally found her voice, sharp, defensive, trembling. "Clara, you've always been dramatic. Why are family issues like this? We all make mistakes." "Mistakes?" I laughed bitterly. "Leaving a child in a locked car while you sip champagne isn't a mistake. It's cruelty dressed as family tradition." Dad rubbed his temples. "Enough. You've made your point. What are you trying to do? Destroy us?" I looked at each of them, the same people who'd spent my entire life making me small, apologetic, quiet. And suddenly something inside me snapped. "No," I said slowly. "I'm not here to destroy you. I'm here to stop pretending you didn't already destroy me." Lily stood up, fury flashing in her eyes. "You think you're so perfect? You're just jealous. You always were." I smiled, not out of joy, but clarity. Jealous of what? The ability to look in the mirror and feel nothing? The talent of stepping over anyone weaker and calling it family pride? She opened her mouth, but I raised my hand. "Don't bother. You've already spoken enough in my son's tears." Then I tapped a final message on my phone and said, "I wasn't recording this for me." The sound of sirens began faintly outside. Their eyes widened in disbelief. The sirens grew louder, a cold, rising wail slicing through their laughter, their champagne, their entire illusion of control. Lily turned pale first. Mom's glass slipped from her hand and shattered on the marble floor. "What did you do, Clara?" Dad barked, his voice trembling more than he wanted it to. "I told the truth," I said quietly. "To the police, to child protection, and to the people who actually care about children's lives more than appearances." Mom's voice broke into a whisper. "You called the police on your own family?" "My son is my family," I said, stepping closer. "You stopped being that the moment you made him wait outside while you laughed about how I'd never make it." The front door burst open. 2 officers entered, led by a woman from the Department of Child Welfare. Her tone was firm, professional. "We received a report about child neglect. We'll need everyone who is present at the hotel to provide statements." Lily's husband stuttered. "This is a misunderstanding." But the officer interrupted. "There's video evidence. We've already reviewed it." Mom looked at me with disbelief, like she couldn't recognize the daughter she'd raised to be silent. "You planned this," she whispered. "Yes," I replied, my voice steady. "All night, while you slept comfortably after hurting a child." And as the officers began escorting them outside, my son appeared from behind the hallway, clutching his toy car, eyes wide. He looked so small standing there, pajamas wrinkled, hair messy, eyes still swollen from crying the night before. "Mom, are they in trouble?" he asked softly. I knelt down and took his hands in mine. "No, sweetheart," I said, voice steady but thick. "They're just finally learning what trouble feels like." Behind me, Lily's husband tried to argue with the officers, but the woman from Child Welfare silenced him. "Sir, we have security footage and timestamps. You can save your explanations for court." Mom tried to reach out toward my son as she passed, whispering, "Baby, Grandma didn't mean." He hid behind me instantly. Her hand froze midair. That's when she realized the power she once had over me, over us, was gone. As they were let out the door, Lily turned her head one last time. You're going to regret this, Clara. Family doesn't betray family. I stood tall. No, Lily. Family protects family. You just never understood the difference. The door shut. The sirens faded. And for the first time in years, the house was quiet, not from fear, but peace. My son looked up at me. Mom, can we go home now? I smiled through the tears. We already are, honey. I turned off the lights, leaving behind the shards of broken glass, the echoes of old cruelty, and the ghosts of a family that once was. Because tonight, justice finally had a mother's voice. The next morning, sunlight spilled across my kitchen table. Warm, honest, nothing like the harsh chandeliers at my parents' house. My son sat beside me, munching on toast while humming to himself. That simple sound, joy without fear, was worth every storm I had walked through. My phone buzzed. It was a message from the child welfare officer. Ms. Clara, the investigation confirms neglect and emotional abuse. Your son is safe, and you did the right thing. I exhaled, slow, trembling, but free. Then another buzz. A local news link. Prominent family under investigation after child neglect report. Their names. Their faces. The same people who used to humiliate me now plastered across screens for what they truly were. Mom called that afternoon. Her voice was weak, stripped of its usual superiority. Clara, we lost everything. Why would you do this? I stared out the window, watching my son draw superheroes on the glass with his markers. Because you made me choose, I said softly, between silence and survival. There was a pause. You destroyed this family. No, I whispered. You did. The day you taught your grandson that love could wait in a car.
She didn't respond.
Just silence. When the call ended, I deleted her number. That night, I tucked my son into bed and whispered, "You're safe now, and you'll never wait alone."